yesterday. Okay, and in today's training, we will try to complete all the complete code in RE framework. So what we have done yesterday is just open the application and we performed the calculations, and here we added multiple arguments. So how many of you were able to do this particular activity, like adding operand result? How many of you were able to do this? Just raise your hands. Manjushri done, Dhruvesh done, Uma Devi done, Sudha done, Rakesh done. Others? Others? Okay. See, you just need to practice as fast as you can, because from next week the classes will be very fast. Whatever I'm doing or whatever I'm trying to teach now, I'm doing it in very slow pace. But from the next week it will be very fast. So try to complete them. Okay, I'm deleting this basic recording because that's not which I want to use. All I have is open application, perform calculations. So what I will also do is I will add a input folder in data, input folder in this input.xlsx. I have these particular activity, first, second, operand. Okay, this Saturday when we connect, so today is Tuesday, right? So maybe in next 1 or 2 days, we will try to we'll try to connect our robots to orchestrator. Okay, if you know how to connect your orchestrator to robot, do it, or else we'll do it in the weekend. Okay, now see, the first, second operand values are available and operand is also available. Let's see how we can do that. Input or any kind of data that we need to first start, we need to do it from main initialization state. So in the first run, see, while we are in the first session, we played a game, right? The init will happen only once. Okay, but even in init, so others, can you please mute? I think there is some disturbance. Let me comment. Okay, thank you everyone. Lower all hands. Okay, so the first class, what we have done is we first initialized at one place, then we will continue with this process state, process transaction data, process transaction, again transaction data and process transaction. So this reading of data, this reading of Excel data, we'll do it only once, and that we will do it in first run. So whenever there is an exception, see, this first run, what it does is it will first check if there is any value in the config. Config is a dictionary. So to check about data types again, I have already pinged you the data types and how to convert them. Just go ahead and check it out. But this is like a dictionary which is having a key on the left side and value on the right side. Okay, what I'll do, I will just add one more activity called read range. Okay, in this read range, I will add that particular workbook. Data, input file, and sheet 1. Let me delete. So join now.
Hello, Vajra.
Let's,
Ullas here.
yeah, Ullas, tell me.
I'm not able to see your screen actually.
Do we have the same issue with everyone?
No, no.
No.
No, we can see.
No, Vajra.
Should I log in again?
Better. Please go ahead and log in again. So here with the read range, we will have a variable called data. This is the transaction data. So any kind of data that we want to process, we will first add it in transaction data. So let me just give you a sample or example notepad. Let's say that there are, I have already explained this to you. Let's say that there is a array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, So we need to work on this array. So now the transaction data. What is the transaction data and what is transaction item? Please unmute. One of you can unmute and talk. What is transaction data and transaction item?
Transaction data is a complete input, and transaction item is a single
Tran-
input at
Transaction data is a collection of item, and transaction item is a single each item. Yeah.
Now what is transaction data? What is transaction item?
The entire list of the files.
Okay.
List.
Now,
Item would be a single file name.
Single item.
so this is a simple way how to remember this. If you are working on any collection, that's what the transaction data is, and single item that you want to process once, that is the transaction item. Okay. Now here, transaction data. What is transaction data?
Our input file.
You cannot say that
table.
it's an input file. Yes, that's correct. Data table is the correct answer. Okay. The data table that we read from this read range is the transaction data. So every row will be a transaction item. For a data row, the data table, uh, transaction data, TD will be complete table, and transaction item will be one row. Now let's assume that there is only one row. Okay. Now what is TD, transaction data, and what is TI? Anyone, please?
Both are one row only.
First,
We have only one row. We have one row with multiple data in it.
data item is a complete row. Data item is a single text, single tab value.
Column, I guess. One column.
Exactly. So if this is a data row, we'll have A and B, C. Okay. So this is a data row. Now this complete data row will be transaction data. Each item or cell, each cell will be transaction item. Okay. So is this concept clear? Because this is very important. Silence. I take it as there are no questions.
It's a
Okay.
cell or it will be column. Only the cell value, not the column. Transaction item.
So
TI.
for a row, we can say that that is a cell or a column. Both are same if you are taking only one row.
Okay.
Next. So if you see here, init all applications. So this calculator application we initialized in hope process state, but this should be open once. We cannot open in init all applications multiple times. The calculator, if we open it once, we can perform all the operations, right? So we will add this calculator, open calculator, only once. That's the reason we will add it in init all applications. For example, if there is a browser that we need to open, we will open it in init all applications. Okay. And now if you go back and see, there are few changes that we make, that we need to make, but there is also one more concept that we can do. Let me just show you how I can go ahead and add these values. So I will be I will open my orchestrator. So this can be a task for you. You can take it as a task to connect your machine with orchestrator. So the URL is cloud.uipod.com. You can go with get try orchestrator free. Okay, this is so if you want, you can purchase get the free enterprise trial, or else you can go with cloud.uipod.com. Okay, so this is my default organization. I will use the same. And in this queues, I will try to add a queue. 30-day training. This is the queue name that I want to add. And let's not check on all the different options because we can discuss that later. But what I'm doing is whatever data that we have in the Excel, I will try to first add it into orchestrator. We can do a different way of changing variables and all, but I would like to go in a bit complex way so that you two will get to know how to add these values directly. So get transaction item. So add queue item. So we need to add queue items. So bulk add queue items. So there are two ways. We add one queue item. One queue item takes a JSON, but with add bulk queue item, we can send the data table directly, transaction data. Okay, and the queue name is this one, 30-day training. Okay, so this is one place. The other place where we can add a queue name is, okay. Any question?
Please can you little enlarge screen? Little, very little.
Let me
UiPath,
just,
please. UiPath.
is this fine now?
Yeah, it's good. Much better.
Okay, so this queue name, we gave it in a static way earlier, but what I'm trying to do now is there is an option in the orchestrate in the config to add the queue name. So what I'll do, I'll just add the queue name here. Okay, so again, this is a dictionary. We will discuss what is dictionary and all. But if you want to test or if you want to try this, just follow my steps. But if you don't follow the steps, you will definitely get confused. Just follow the steps that I'm working on. I opened the config and I updated the queue name. And in this particular value, I will add in config of or just config of open double quotes orchestrator queue name. That's all. Dot toString.
Hi, Vajran. This is
Yeah,
Sudha.
tell me. Tell me, Sudha.
Vajran, if we add queue item, if we use activity add queue item, each and every row it will update as a queue item, right? If we
Correct.
have 5 rows, it has 5 queue items.
Correct.
Why you are using bulk add queue items?
So when we are using add queue item, you can add only one row at a time.
Yeah, yes.
But using bulk add queue items, you need
Yeah.
not loop the rows.
Loop.
You can just send in one data table and it will add all the values.
Okay. Using this also you can update as a single row as a queue item.
That's not required. That's what I'm saying. We can directly send the data table.
Okay. While getting the data, how it will take like every queue item.
Yeah, it will take the same way. We are just adding it in a bulk, but we will work on the same way how we will get a normal transaction item. Let me just continue. So we will continue, or we will check with get transaction data on doll in the next session. But what we will do is in this process transaction state, just add one thing. See, this transaction item we have already updated, open workflow. So in this open workflow, in the import arguments, check with the argument that's sent. This is the transaction item, right? And the transaction item is queue item. Okay. Now let me run this workflow till main, or till get transaction data. We'll just update the queue item, nothing else. I will not execute the complete flow. I will just show you how we can. Okay, I'll keep a breakpoint over here, and there's a breakpoint. And if you open this 30-day training, open view transactions, there are no transactions. Okay. Now what I will do, I will just hit on debug file. See, there will also be highlight elements. So you can just watch what's happening with the highlight elements. We are assigning a config, reading the range of sheets and assigning all the values, initializing all the assets at the end. We'll discuss on this particular RE framework in the next session. Okay, it's trying to open calculator. So it started calculator application basically. Okay. Now if you see, if you go back and see in transactions, all the transactions or all the rows are already updated. First, second, and operand. Okay, so there is no need to loop in with all the rows. Okay, all we need is we will get all the items at a single shot, and all the values will be updated here. Okay, now RE framework basically takes queue as a input by default. That's the reason I want to first explain you about queues, then I will explain you about remaining things, or how to change the data types and all. Did you get it?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not making any changes with RE framework, because if I start making changes, then you get confused. So use whatever we have, and then we will continue. So to get a value from transaction item, what I can do is in transaction item dot specific content. So how can I know that that's a specific content? If you open any of the transaction item, view details, see, this is specific data, right? So using this, we can add the value. This is like a dictionary, and this is like keyword. First is the key dot toString. Okay, in the same way, let's add the second one. Second, again, this is the row name or column name if you observe. So Preeti, you can just type in the message in the chat itself. No need to do a WhatsApp message. You can do it in the Teams channel. Okay. Yeah. So Preeti wants to have a basic session on uh, operands and how to work with the basics. So let's plan for it. But try to understand this concept for now. Then we will go with the basics again. So when you go with the basics, you will get to understand these concepts more easily. Okay. Now what I am doing, I just sent in two values, or just updated first, second, and operand. And when I update those values, I get a message box. That's all I'm doing, nothing else. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So let's go ahead and run this again. So when I run this again, The values will be updated again because we will be restarting the process and the input values are already there. We will add 6 more rows or 6 more items to this. But let's go ahead and debug the file. I just want to show you how the execution happens. Then what we will do, you start and work and I will guide you. You will work on your machines and I will guide you. If there is an error, let's share the screen and others will guide you. That's how we will do it. Okay. So I'm not changing anything. I didn't change anything with RE framework. So this is the best part with RE framework. You just send in the input, you just write the code that you want to execute and there are already some predefined steps that are available that will help us to check with the exceptions, check with the logs, check with the output items, everything. Okay, the first answer is 2. So it will not open character tray again. It will continue with the next item. Okay, I think, okay, this is going with the next item. 2 plus 2, that's 4. We'll get it as a message box. Done. We'll continue with one last item and then let's see what is the transaction state. Okay, I got the third answer as well. So that's correct. And I will go back and I will stop the process. Let's go back to orchestrator. Okay, and let's see the transaction values. So if you see, the first 3 items are successful and the remaining items are still to be processed. They are yet to be processed. And in this particular automations, jobs, so this is what I have triggered. Let me just see if I can. Okay, I started this process locally, so I cannot see it in the jobs, but in the logs, I think I can see the changes. See week 1 calculator, main cancelled, try to process transaction. So in the next third week, we will get to see what are the logs and how to work with the logs. Okay. So what we can do is I will stop the training for now. Let's work on the code. You start with the code, you execute or you write the code. I will help you if you are facing the issue because we completed 30 days of the 30 minutes of the training. I want you to work because this is a bit confusing thing that we need to close. So am I clear till now?
Do you want us to download the code or you like write a new code?
You need to write the code. Okay, I've stopped the screen share. See, in the second session, Preeti did, or in the first or second session, Preeti did the coding, right, with everyone using a screen share. So, can anyone volunteer to do this today? Now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so Dhruvesh will do it, others will guide him. Okay,
Okay.
Dhruvesh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead and share the screen. So, I'll be on mute. So, whenever you require my help, I will join in. I'll unmute and I will talk. Okay, others can go ahead and help.
Okay, so I need to change in your code, that is week one calculator, or in...
No,
We
no,
will-
you can
we need to
copy it the week one calculator, and you can make or you can create it within your folder.
Okay.
So again, it takes time. So I suggest others also to work, because RE framework for the first project is completed, if you ask me. So I want you to work on that.
Bajrang, we have to create a RE framework project, or
It depends. If you want to create a new project, you can go ahead and do it. Or if you want to continue with the existing code, if you already have created some calculator application, you can use the existing one.
so you want us to incorporate queues into it?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay.
Let's also see if we can add a robot, Dhruvesh, a machine to our robot orchestrator. So if others want to work, please go ahead and do it while Dhruvesh is doing. Don't wait for Dhruvesh to work, and you need not see it. Let me check if I can add multiple screen share, if I can allow multiple screen share. I don't think so.
Vajrang, I need to create a new project for it.
Okay, don't ask me, ask your peers, please.
Hey, open a new project, and if you want to create the RE framework, right, just select RE framework into our robotic process. That
Dhruvesh, while doing, explain and do it, please.
Okay. First we will import file, input file. Or else we can create here.
Dhruvesh, if you already have a calculator code, why don't you just use it rather than creating everything from the beginning?
Okay. Okay. Information. I'm not able to find that. Mm.
Okay, can anyone else share their screen and work on this? No? Manjushri, Myra.
I'm not able to find that GitHub repo in my machine.
Okay, if you have GitHub desktop, open GitHub desktop.
Yeah.
And so go to GitHub and put in all the changes from my branch or my code. Go to yes, fetch upstream. Yeah. Okay, there are some issues with this. You may need to check and commit them later. But yes, you can make a pull request in GitHub desktop. Go to GitHub desktop.
Directly fetch origin.
Yes. On the top, there is repository, right? Open repository on the top. Top. Next to view.
Where?
Top in the menu.
Okay.
Repository. No, on the top. Repository.
Okay.
Okay. View in Explorer. Show in Explorer. So
Okay.
this is your project folders.
So I have made changes in your code.
Don't make changes in my code.
Okay. So I need to change it.
Just whatever RE framework you have created, just place it in Dhruvesh folder.
Okay.
See, everyone try to understand how we are working with GitHub. GitHub is like a folder again, and inside that folder we are structuring with different projects. If you just open this particular file, you may need to rework or you may need to go ahead and recreate all the files. That's not required, right? The files are already available. If you just copy and paste that folder that's already created, then you can directly open it in the GitHub. Okay. So we cannot work with Dhruvesh code. I want others please to volunteer. Anyone? No problem. So Dhruvesh, take it offline.
Okay.
Rakesh,
Yeah,
can you?
yeah, yeah, Vajrang, one second.
So also explain what you're doing.
Yes, Vajrang, one second. So I have my project ready, project which I have created earlier. So
Okay.
here in this I read that Excel. Okay, and I need to add this data to a queue. So I'm creating a queue.
Okay. So whatever I have said, can you please replicate the same so that others can also understand? I do understand that you have written your own custom code.
Sorry, I didn't get Vajrang.
No, I understood that you have written your own custom code rather than using RE framework, right?
Yes.
So why don't you just create a RE framework project and just copy and paste these files over there?
Yeah, but I tried to do that, Vajrang. I felt some bit confusion where to paste where, it might take time. So I thought of editing.
Exactly. So that's what you need to know. You can see normally what happens in a project is there will be multiple developers. There will be leads who can merge the code or who can combine the code from multiple developers. So they will be maintaining RE framework. Others will give only the sequences.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
So as a developer, you need to know, okay, if this is the code, how can you incorporate this into RE framework? That's the main idea of the training, right?
Okay. Got it.
It's fine. Even if it takes time, go ahead and do it.
Okay. Let me launch the project which I created. Okay, now I'm initially getting my data ready. So this is the input file that needs to be read. Okay, and okay, now my input file is ready. Now I need to add this path to the config, the config file. So this is where my config file is. Okay.
So, Rakesh, no need to add config file for now. You can just give a hard-coded path.
Okay.
And anyhow, we are using queues, right? So data can be fetched from queues.
Okay. So this is where I get confused where to paste thing. Okay.
Exactly. So I want everyone to answer this question. How many times do we need to read this particular Excel file? Rakesh, you don't answer. Others will answer.
One time.
Once.
One
Yeah,
time,
one
right?
time, Vajra.
Okay. So when we need to run it only once, there is a first run sequence. If you observe, first run. This one. No. That's correct, Rakesh. Whatever you have opened is correct. Open that. See, there is first run that's mentioned, right? Inside, if first run read local configuration, inside that there is first run sequence. Double click on that. You need to add your file that you want to read here. So that will be read only once.
Okay.
Okay, scroll down. All the activities inside this particular sequence will be executed only once. So config, even though there is exception, will read only once, right? So anything that's there in the first run, we will do it only once. So at the end of this sequence, come down at the end. Now add this particular read range activity. So what read range will do? It will read the workbook and it will give us the data table. So you can copy that activity even from the previous code that you have built.
And how about these guys, Venkat? We are questioning like the framework in its settings and all. There should be some.
So the settings and all there that those are already pre-built.
Yes.
Okay. So what happens with the settings is it will first read the config.
Yes. If
it will first read the config and then it will add the values. But in the same way, we will also read in the first run because the data that we need to input only once.
Yes.
And it need to continuously execute. Right. So now we added or we updated read range. So you have also updated add data column, add for each data row. You can actually delete this all activities.
Yeah, one sec.
Vajrang, I have added for each activity also for this read range. Should I delete that one also?
If you want to add queue item and if you want to add one queue item at a time, then you need to use read for loop. But if you want to use bulk upload, I think there is no need for loop.
Okay, so that activity, where should I paste that activity, Vajrang? After this config file?
Bulk upload, right?
Bulk upload, yes.
Yes. So after read range, you can add bulk upload.
No, my question is read range activity, where should I update it? After this config file reading or where should I?
Inside the first run at the end.
That is after add log file, right? So
exactly. So Rakesh, you can also delete for each row in data table because that's
Uh,
not required.
yeah, okay. Actually, I kept it.
So what is the data table that you are getting?
Yeah, one sec. I'm just getting the queue name.
Okay. So I've updated the name directly in the config. I tried to read it, but Rakesh is trying to update it in a static way. So any hard-coded values, we need to make changes in the code directly. If there is a request that, okay, I don't want it as 30 days Excel calculator. I want only calculator calculations. So I need to go into the code and change it. Okay, for now, this is fine, but later we should not do this. Okay, you can delete out data table, you can delete right range, or you can delete close application. Okay, wait. So close application, when you press Control Z, so close application is to close the calculator, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to ask others, where will you place this close application?
In end process.
End process.
Exactly. So that should happen at the end. So take that close activity and place it in the end process.
Vajram,
Which,
one question. So
yes,
for the initial, actually, I do the queue items in a dispatcher
open workflow.
separately.
Okay.
Yeah, is it best practice to do separately or with the initialization place? If any
Okay.
application error has the
Can you please
initialization place.
explain me what you have done again? Because I kind of lost it.
Sorry?
Can you please explain it again? Tell your query again, please.
My query is actually the items to the orchestra. I do prefer the dispatcher one,
Okay.
where I will send the data to the orchestrator
Okay.
and I will do the performance to get the
Yes.
data and the process.
Yes.
So here you're using the initialization state to
Yes.
send the data to the queue. If
Yes.
any application error, it starts again the initialization phase.
Correct.
So it will send the data again to the orchestrator or it directly starts from the.
No, if you observe, when I ran it for the second time, it again updated all the values. Like it updated the second duplicated values, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that will still happen. So dispatch and performer concept will cover in the second and third weeks because it's too early for everyone. Because even to understand these concepts, you need the next 3 days of training. Okay. It's easy for me to write the code and give it to you and just ask you to practice. But what I'm also trying to do is I'm taking only 15 minutes of my training session to work on the code and remaining 30 minutes to 40 minutes, I'm trying to make you do it. So when you do it here, the recording also will be available. Others, when they are doing, they will also face the same issues and they can rectify them. That's the idea.
Okay, Vajran.
Okay. Rakesh, what have you done till now? You just updated that to queue, right?
Yes, Ajanga. I created a queue. Wait, let me share my screen and show my window. Okay, so in the first run sequence, I got data into my data table and I added data items to the data table queue using bulk add queue items.
Okay.
Now, after this, right, this guy is calling init application. So we got the data which into the queue. Now we need to add the read queue, and that will be done in the first one only.
Okay. So check with the naming init all applications. So what application are we using in this process?
Yeah, calculators. We need to open calculator.
Exactly. So that's it. Don't do anything else.
No, my question is like, reading the queue items. It comes under get data, right? Okay.
Okay. Get transaction data will read the queue items.
Yes.
Again, I will explain you each and everything or each and every point in RE framework. But first, let's try to run a bit. This is like a warm up. Then we'll make some baby steps again. Why are you indicating it again?
No, I'm just making sure the selector is.
Vajram,
Yes.
that backside queue item activity I'm getting in a different way.
Okay. That's fine, Uma. Maybe you have the latest uh, activities, or you might be using previous activities. That's fine. The activity still remains same.
When I mentioned read range, it says that the activity is valid only inside Excel application scope. I just added after log fields business.
Sorry, I missed that. What is it?
I just added read range after the add log fields. Okay, and I
But why did you add range?
just
Can you go
get
to Can you go to init all application?
yeah.
Init all applications. Can you go back?
Yeah, I'm just doing that.
So others, I'm hoping that you are also trying to make the changes along with Ravi.
I got initialization.
Yeah.
Where you have load configuration and open the application.
Okay. Can you
Just
go back? Go back. Yeah. Click on that. Why? I think that's fine. Whatever you have done is correct. No, why did you delete it? What you have done is correct. Press Control Z.
It's not actually pointing the selector is failing actually.
No, the selector is failing because the calculator is not open. If you open calculator, then it will not fail.
Yeah, but open application should launch the application, right?
Exactly.
Even if
So
the
when it
application is
launches the
closed.
application, no, when it launches the application, it will check for the selector, whether that particular selector is available or not.
Okay.
Okay. So open application will actually check with the file name. So if you check with the file name on the right side, don't check file name on the right side, check with the file name, open the properties, see Microsoft Windows Calculator. This is what we have.
Okay.
So what you can do is you can execute this only file and check whether the calculator application is opening or not. Check only with this file, debug this file. So not how many seconds will it wait for it to open? Any
So voice broke version.
So let's assume that the application did not open. How many seconds will it wait for the application to open?
30 seconds.
Exactly.
Yeah, looks like it is working.
Yes. Now when you open the selector will be valid now. Don't close it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, anyways, got
The
it.
selector is valid, right? So that's what it is. So when the open application will use file name to open it, and it will check with the selector to see if the file is opened or not.
Got it.
Okay. Now the next step is, okay, you read the Excel, you opened calculator. What is the next step?
Next, we need to get data from queue.
That's already done. There is nothing that you need to change. You need to process it. Go to process, open
Okay.
process, open workflow, open the workflow, process.xml, open workflow.
Okay.
Directly you can use open workflow here. There is no need for you to directly go ahead and open. Okay. Now, what are the activities? Okay, I want you to stop. Others, please guide Rakesh. Whatever you say, Rakesh will do. What we should do here? We are running time. You can see, please.
To create a queue.
Queue is already available. What should we do in process?
We need to do the calculations.
Say it again, please.
Sorry?
Say it again. We have to do
Calculations.
correct. So you already have the code for calculations, Rakesh?
Yes, but not with the queue.
Not with the queue, but you have the code, right?
Okay.
See, we are just rebuilding the code. That's it.
No, not this, I think.
I think this is correct. Okay, open. What is there in click?
It just goes and clicks over this item.
Okay.
I'm just using the same clicked item
How
once.
many of you think that this is the best practice to have a click activity for every workflow? How many of you think that this is the best practice? Go ahead. Go. Okay, others don't know. So
We
let me
don't
explain.
know. We don't need extra activity for means workflow for click activity.
Exactly. So that's
Yeah.
correct. There is no need for a single activity. We don't need to create a separate workflow altogether. So Rakesh, what you can do is copy the first button, copy the second button, copy the operand, and copy the equal to symbol in a single workflow, or you can directly copy in the process.
I didn't get what was wrong. Copy.
So give me the access once. Hello. See here, open workflow. Copy this one and paste it in process.
Okay.
Go to process. Yeah, you can delete the assign arguments, first and second one. Yes, paste it.
You didn't. Okay.
Okay. The next one, leave it, don't change anything. Copy the next one. So after first one, you need to have operand.
Yes.
I think you need to go with the second click. This one, open workflow.
Here, what I am doing, right? I'm
Okay,
using.
I understand. You are using this workflow and you're sending this as a activity. You're sending this as an argument to click on the
Yeah,
button.
every item I'm getting, right? I'm using this activity to click the same item. So here I'm saying, initially I'm sending variable one. Here I'm sending variable two. Sorry, in second I'm sending operand. Third I'm sending the second variable. Here I'm changing the operand, again sending the same operand.
Got it. Okay.
So I have only one click item.
Yes, got it. So there is no need for you to use only one click item because click item will not occupy more space, but invoke or workflow will obviously occupy more space because of the arguments, open workflow activity, and its properties and all.
Okay.
Okay. So for a simple sequence, you can directly record with the activities.
Okay. Got it. You want me to record or shall I?
Just you can copy and paste. I think if you understand the logic of how to do that, then it should be fine.
Okay. So now, Vajrang, we need to get the data right from the queues.
Exactly. So the data is already available in this process. You just need to know how to pull it. Check in the arguments. If there is already transaction item. So the first value will be transaction item of
Dot what is
specific
it?
content,
Specific content of in
the column
first.
name.
Yes.
Okay.
Shall I use variables?
It's not recommended.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to use variable, assign it to variable, and then you need to send it, you want to send it to click activity. That's the idea of yours, right?
Yeah.
You can do that.
What is the best practice?
Best practice is whatever you have said. That's the best practice, I would say. But yes, there is no need if you can directly invoke it. So again, there is no way how you can choose a variable. Just create three variables. No,
Okay.
create three variables. First.
Vajram,
Yes.
I already created this process in, I mean, calculator navigation in the process step itself. So no need to change anything in that, right?
No need to change anything. Okay. So when we are doing this, there is no need for everyone to work on the same like whatever Rakesh is doing, but the logic need to be same, obviously. But yes, everyone will have their own code now. But at the end, they need to have the output. That's okay. Now we complete this today's training. I want to take one quick survey from every. So you can just raise the hand and let me know your answer. How many of you feel that whatever the training that you are getting today or now will or is too fast for you because you don't have any coding experience? Because initially I said clear that you need to have basic coding knowledge. How many are facing? Please be frank. Tell me how many are facing issue in understanding concepts. Please raise the hand. If you raise the hand, then I will get to know. Kushal, one. Okay. Such. Okay. Only two members. Karthik. Okay.
I understood the the coding part and everything, but the steps are a little confused. Sorry if I was.
No, no, I understand. I'm the basic. Just telling basic. Just please be frank because I just need to understand so that I can tweak this training as well. So that you need not spend those extra bucks on different training. Okay. So there are 3 members who said that this is very fast for them and they need basics. Okay. So others, I hope you are able to get it. Let me check with Manju. Are you able to get the concept?
Yes, Lotra. I'm able to follow it.
Okay. You have, did you practice it earlier? Did you practice UiPath or some part of it earlier?
Yes, practice.
Can you select this? Inclusive sequence. Okay, that's very simple. You if you practice once or twice, that will be fine. I'm not talking about that. Let Karthik, can you repeat yourself on mute? So,
Your voice is not audible.
okay, so Rakesh, okay, now
Hello. Am I the only person?
Bajrang, I am not able to hear you.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, better.
Yeah.
Okay. So what my question is, uh, Kushal, Sachin, and Karthik, you don't know the basics, or what is the issue that you are facing?
I mean, I know the basics, but little getting confused with the flow.
Which flow are you talking about?
I mean, this program flow,
Program.
uneven steps.
Okay. But are you able to create a sequence flow for calculator, like opening calculator and getting the value, not with RE framework? Are you able to do that with a normal sequence or not?
Yes, yes, I can do that. I've done that.
Okay. See, RE framework will be tricky to understand in the beginning, but once you get hold of it, it will be very easy. Okay.
Okay.
So whatever Rakesh or someone who are doing, they don't know what is RE framework and all, but think on the logic way, or you can see the video that we have created earlier on the first day. Let me take these questions with the you three now. Okay. Now, where did we add open application in RE framework?
In the init section.
Okay. Uh, okay. Now that will be same for every workflow or
Yes.
any project. Okay. Now, in process, what are we doing?
In process, you are getting the input from the Excel
Input
file.
from the
Go ahead. Go ahead and answer. So what we are doing is we are actually perform the process, the actual process, the calculation, what we want. That's what we are doing.
okay.
Okay. So process is used to work on our logic. And when are we closing the application? Where are we closing the application?
In the end process.
Okay. So you got these things clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. See, the only way you can understand this is if you start at least see whatever video that we have created now with the recording, just try to retry to replicate it.
Okay.
Okay. When you replicate it, then you will find some issues and you will be able to correct them. And this is only the third day or fourth day, right, of the training. We still have
Yes.
25 days. There are many. So as I have said earlier, the first week will be the training phase. The remaining 3 weeks will be the practice phase. Though we'll be covering multiple concepts, we'll be practicing RE framework, practicing RE framework, practicing RE framework. Okay. So my question was, who don't know the actual basics of UiPath? Now, that's the question. Now, if you understood the question now, please answer your please raise your hand, or else others can lower their hands in the chat. Who don't know the basics of UiPath?
Vajrang, I have idea about the basics, but I doesn't know like how to use them in a practical way.
So
So
Preeti, yeah,
yeah,
got it. So Preeti, now I cannot explain you the holistic view because you cannot relate. But in this particular calculator sequence, what are you not able to understand? Tell me that.
no, I understood the concept what you're saying, but thing is like the flow I can't catch it properly.
Oh,
Like in the sequence I have done it. Like I don't know how did I do it, but I follow the pattern and I just did it. But coming to this RA framework, from where the sequence things are we are keeping into this RA framework, I don't understand that.
okay. So Preeti, pick one of the team members from this particular team now.
Team members, okay.
Yeah, pick one member that you want to work with, except
Except,
except me, of course.
okay.
Okay. You can pick
Who?
anyone.
I mean, are they comfortable with me?
So when you are in a organization, does it matter if someone is comfortable with you?
No.
It's
This is
a,
training. This is training session. That is different. This is different. So
no,
yeah.
don't take it as different sessions. So you are going with a project training, and I would like to treat this as a project, and let's treat it as an organization where you are working with the team member.
So you tell me, like, who is the good one?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Sudha,
Yeah, I'm good.
Sudha,
Uh,
Sudha.
Hi,
like
hi, Vachal. Yeah,
she
I'm
she
fine.
might be working, I guess, right?
No,
Uh, so she is from Netherlands, and
Okay.
you are from US. So you can have 6 to 7 hours of time
yeah,
that's
yeah,
combined where you can work together.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
and to my understanding, Sudha is far more the best uh, with respect to UiPath because she already had taken some training session, and she was able to, though we completed 2 days of training, she joined in between. She was able to cope up with the speed that we are working on.
Okay.
Okay, so Sudha, can you team up with Preeti and create or discuss about this project and try to create a simple single project? You two
yeah,
both
Vachal.
can
Sure.
create a single project because I also checked with the time zone as well as how easy for others to collaborate. Since you are with a proper time zone, I cannot add Preeti to an Indian person because that doesn't make sense.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay, Preeti,
Yeah,
are we
Yep.
good for?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So again, others we need to collaborate. Okay. So the first team is completed, Preeti and Sudha. So let's take these names. This is a great thing that we have done for today. So we'll build the teams now. Okay. Uh, we'll not build all the teams now. We'll build according to the requirement again. Okay.
A
So
okay.
small request, Vajrang, like, can we
yes,
join the session like bit early, like 10:30, 10 o'clock? So
yes,
it
sure.
will complete. Yeah, because it's getting late daily for me.
Okay, okay. So you're saying the complete session to be preponed to 30 minutes earlier?
Yeah, if we start 30 minutes earlier,
Uh,
we can have the discussion,
I,
we can
I,
have the
I,
session complete, and then we can start with the queries if anybody have. So
so what I can do is I cannot ask everyone to join early. What I can do is I can join early for you, and we can clear your queries before the session starts.
yeah, sure.
Okay, that I can do because I cannot trouble everyone in the team because of one single person.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and Sudha. So come up with a good name, you two both.
What, Vachran?
Come up with a team name later in the by the next session.
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we are past by 15 minutes. So I just want to stop the current recording, as well as I will upload this in the YouTube channel. So I hope everyone are able to get the recording and are